These two sliders might be the most powerful feature in Photoshop. They let you make any area transparent based on its brightness, doing things that would otherwise require multiple selections and masks. I'm Jesus Ramirez. In this video, I'll break down exactly how the blend diff sliders work in Photoshop, from the basics to advanced techniques. Let's start by going over the RGB color mode. Understanding it will be essential for using blend diff effectively. In the 8-bit RGB color mode, colors are made by combining red, green, and blue, the primary colors of light. By mixing these colors at different brightness levels, we can produce millions of colors. Each 8-bit RGB channel has 256 brightness levels ranging from 0 to 255. 0 means no light, pure black. And 255 means full brightness, pure white. Blend diff uses the same 0 to 255 scale to represent brightness, allowing you to control which parts of a layer become transparent based on brightness levels. Now, let's use this circular gradient to explain how blend diff works. This document has two layers, the white to black circular gradient and a gray background. To enter the blend diff feature, double-click on the empty space to the side of any layer to open the Layer Style window. Under Blending Options, you'll find the Blend Diff section at the bottom. The Blend Diff dropdown lets you target the image's overall brightness or individual color channels. The default is gray, which works with brightness. Below that, you have two sliders, the current layer and underlying layer sliders. We'll start with the current layer sliders, which control the currently selected layer. You'll see 2 points, the black point at 0 and the white point at 255. Dragging the black point slider to the right hides the darkest pixels. At this moment, the slider is at a brightness value of 80, this shade of gray right here on the gradient. That means any pixel at 80 or darker disappears. It becomes completely transparent. You can see it happening in the gradient. The further right you drag, the more dark pixels drop out. The white point slider does the same thing from the other end. Dragging it to the left to about 170 makes everything this shade of bright gray or brighter disappear, all the way up to 255, which is pure white. So between these two sliders, you're controlling exactly which brightness ranges stay visible. You probably noticed that these transitions are very sharp, but in most projects, you want the smooth fade between visible and transparent pixels. To do that, hold Alt on Windows or Option on the Mac and click on the white point slider to split the slider in half. Now, you can drag the halves apart. Instead of a hard cutoff, you get a gradual blend. The pixels in between slowly fade from visible to transparent. Let's put this knowledge to use. This document has two layers, a background layer and a moon photo layer. The goal is to get the moon to blend in seamlessly with the sky, and Blend Diff is the perfect tool for this job. Start by double-clicking on the side of the moon layer to open the Layer Style window. Then, under Current Layer, drag the black point to the right to make the black pixels of the moon layer disappear. Now split the slider by holding Alt on Windows or Option in the Mac and clicking on it, and spread it apart until you get a realistic result. This is really cool stuff, right? If Blend Diff is clicking for you right now, then you'll love my Selections and Masking Mastery course. This tutorial is just a taste of what's inside. The link to that course is below in the description. Now let's look at the underlying layer sliders. For this example, we'll use a gray solid color layer over the gradient. The underlying layer sliders work the opposite way. Instead of hiding pixels on the active layer, they reveal pixels from the layers below. Here, the gray layer covers the gradient, but as I drag the black point to the right, the gradient starts to appear through the gray. The same goes for the white slider. The brighter areas are revealed as I move it to the left. And of course, you can create smooth transitions by holding Alt or Option and clicking on the slider to split it in half. Let me now show you how this works on a real project. I have two layers in this document, a sky and a jet. The goal is to make it look like the jet is behind the clouds. First, open the Layer Style window from the jet layer. Another way of getting there is by clicking on the FX icon from the Layers panel and choosing Blending Options. Now, use the underlying layer sliders to bring the clouds in front of the jet. Since the clouds are mostly white, drag the white point slider to the left and watch as the clouds appear over the jet. Then, you can hold Alt on Windows or Option on the Mac and click on the slider to split it in half and create a smooth transition. Press OK when you're done. Now, when you move the jet layer, it appears as if it flies behind the clouds. Here's another way of using the underlying layer sliders. In this composite, I have 3 layers: a background, a person, and a photo of a hurricane. First, you can press Ctrl-Alt-G on Windows, that's Command-Option-G on a Mac, to convert the hurricane layer into a clipping mask. Now, it's only visible over the man. That's what the down pointing arrow in the Layers panel indicates. Then, apply the Screen Blending mode from the Layers panel. This will make dark pixels transparent, making it look like the snow is on his body. But to make it even more realistic, you can use the underlying layer sliders. To do so, drag the black point slider to the right to bring up the shadows from his body over the hurricane layer, creating a more natural blend. Then, hold Alt and click on the black point slider to split it in half and create a smooth transition. And it looks like he really has snow on his body. Again, all this and more is in my Selections and Masking Mastery course. The link is below. Now that you understand the basics, let me show you something that makes BlendIff even more powerful. Instead of targeting brightness, you can target individual channels. This is where BlendIff goes from useful to incredible. In the BlendIff dropdown, you'll see the RGB channels: red, green, and blue. Behind the scenes, Photoshop views every image through these channels. From the Channels panel, you can click on each individual channel, and you'll notice that they are simply black and white images that show you where the color light exists in your image. I'll enable the red channel. White tells us where red light is present in our image, while black shows areas without any red. The opposite color, cyan, will appear where red is absent. The same applies to other channels. In the green channel, the opposite color is magenta. In the blue channel, it's yellow. So white is the color of the channel, and black is the absence of the color of the channel, and the opposite color appears. Now let's explore channels with the BlendIff sliders. From the BlendIff dropdown, select red. Remember, on the red channel, white means red is present, and black means it's absent and the opposite color shows, cyan. Dragging the black point slider to the right will make the black areas on the red channel disappear. The further right you drag, the more colors close to cyan become transparent, while red stays visible. When you drag the white point slider to the left, red begins to disappear, and dragging further affects colors close to red. Just like before, you can hold Alt or Option and click to split the slider and spread it to create a smoother transition between transparent and visible pixels. Now let's look at how the underlying layer sliders work with channels. We'll use this graphic that has a gray layer covering the color gradient. From the Layer Style window, choose Green from the RGB dropdown. In the green channel, white means green is present, and black means no green, so magenta shows up. When you drag the white point slider to the left, the green from the gradient comes through above the gray layer, and dragging the black point slider to the right makes magenta and the colors around it pop through. Let's now use what we just learned on a real image. This image has 2 layers, a foreground which contains a boring sky and a layer containing a much more dramatic sky. And we'll use BlendIff to apply a sky replacement. First, go into the Channels panel and look at all the channels. Pay attention to what's white and what's black. Look for the channel that has the most contrast between what you want to keep and make disappear. Notice the blue channel. The sky is completely white and the foreground is mostly dark. This means we can use the blue channel alongside BlendIff to make the sky transparent and reveal the new sky from the layer underneath. Start by going into the Layer Style window. From the BlendIff dropdown, choose blue. Remember the sky was completely white in this channel. So you can drag the current layer's white point slider to the left and the original sky will disappear, revealing the sky from the layer below. You can also hold Alt or Option and click to split the slider and create a smoother transition. Press OK when you're done. and you can even reposition the sky layer. If you're ready to go even further with BlendIff, check out my Selections and Mastery course, which covers everything from basic selections to advanced masking, including more on BlendIff. It's the perfect next step to this video. The link to it is below in the description.